Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here, making this video free for everybody out there. Unfortunately, some of the props parlays that we picked in the first round, they didn't hit. First round's very unpredictable. NFL draft is tough. Like I told you guys, I don't do mock drafts. I don't try to guess what 32 different GMs are thinking. Shout out to some of the MVPs that reached out to me in the DMs, and they said, Rico, I hit on that defensive players bet thingy. Had no clue it was going to go all the way to 15. Congrats to some of you who had the courage to sprinkle it. That's pretty cool. I saw one guy, he put $50 on it. It was a plus 1,200 or 1,500. I'm so sorry. So he made his money, 15 times over. It's pretty cool. I want to say $750. That being said, some guys got their parlays right. I didn't, but they did. Congratulations. So I'm going to tell you, we have the second round coming up. A lot of good players left. Some of these specials don't look too encouraging to me. Number one, Spencer Rattler going in the second round. If you have this in your sports book, I don't know if that's going to happen. It's possible. He's the next quarterback off the board, but nobody needs a quarterback. You can just let him settle for a little bit and maybe get him in the third or fourth round. I don't know. Second round just doesn't seem right just because there's so many quality players. Every running back is still on the board. A lot of good wide receivers, a lot of good defenders since they didn't draft any last night. There's just a lot of good players still left. I don't know. I don't see that happening. Blake Corum going to the Chargers or the Giants. Once again, another stab in the dark, assuming a Michigan head coach wants him. I don't know. Brendan Rice to be in the third round. This one feels crazy. Like you're just guessing, is he going in the third round? Probably. I wouldn't put him past it. Plus 250. It doesn't hurt to sprinkle $10 on that. That's cool. Jonathan Brooks going to the Cowboys. A lot of people assume this is going to happen. I don't. I think Jalen Wright's interested. Blake Corum's on their list, and Brooks. 3 running backs. If there's 3 running backs, I don't know. There's probably some value there, but couldn't tell you. Blake Corum drafted in the second round. Feels right, but he's a third rounder or worse to me. Cooper DeJean to be drafted by the Packers. Blind stab in the dark, obviously. Went to Iowa, close in proximity, but I don't think Cooper DeJean is as good as people think that he is. I think he lacks certain traits and skills. He's not very high. I think he's 7th on my top 10 board. I didn't think he's as good as everybody else says he is. That's just me personally. Frank Gore going to the 49ers. Pointless to make that bet. Sanders to go to the Dolphins. What a wild guess. And then this one really intrigues me. Jonathan Brooks being the first running back drafted. There's a chance. That's a plausible chance. Jay Sanders being the second tight end drafted. There's a chance, okay? That we're getting crazy now. Junior Collison being the first linebacker drafted. Again, there's a chance. And then Tyler Nubin being the first safety drafted. All this makes sense to me. At plus 1,300, guys. At plus 1,300. Sorry, you guys couldn't see that the whole time. Oh, my goodness. Ugh. It's crazy. It's a shot in the dark. Right? Shot in the dark. Put your $10 on it. Put your $10 on it. Just saying, that bet's worth making. Out of all these, that one feels really right. The rest, tripping. What is this? Offensive lineman to be drafted at pick 34, 35, and 36. Well, that sounds crazy. Let me see who's picking at 34, 35, and 36. 34 is the Patriots. I don't think they're taking an offensive lineman. They're definitely taking – I think they're taking Ladd McConkey. I think they're taking Ladd because I think Adonai Mitchell's going to the Bills at 33. He's going to replace Diggs. So I think Adonai Mitchell's the first pick in the second round, and then right after that is Ladd. You just do a run on wide receivers. At least that's how I feel. And then you say 35 and 36. So that's the Cardinals and the Commanders. I think somebody's going to take Newton at that point. One of those teams is taking Jerzon Newton because he's still available. And when you think of offensive lineman being taken, offensive lineman, the only guy I can think of is Jackson Powers Johnson, the safety from Oregon, who I really like. Zach Frazier, I said the safety, the center. Zach Frazier, the center from Western Virginia. So that's 2 centers. And then Kingsley, the tackle. He was supposed to be from BYU. He was supposed to be like a last-second guy. So those 3 guys going back to back to back. 2 centers and a tackle, I don't see that happening, man. That doesn't feel right at all. Houston Texans and Cleveland Browns each draft a cornerback with their first picks. That would mean no. Where are the Texans? 41. Texans 41. When are the Browns? Browns are 50 something, right? 53. I'll double check. 54. Nah. I think that's just a wild guess in the dark, y'all. That doesn't work for me. And it's getting 3,000. I think this 1,300 one's fun. It's intriguing. Something to root for. All right, let's go down here. Second round. It says position of New England Patriots second drafted player. Just the position? Well, I told you wide receiver. It feels like wide receiver Ladd McConkey. If it's not Ladd McConkey, then it's the BB kid. Not Johnson. I have my notes in front of me, but I don't. Zach Frazier. It's got to be no, it's not the Kansas State kid. No, man, it feels like a wide receiver, and it's minus 230. I wouldn't bet on it. Position the Commanders take. Once again, just another crazy guess. None of these feel right. Cardinals, third drafted player. Cardinals have the third pick in the second round. That's where people think Cooper DeJean's going. Cooper DeJean's going here is what they think. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. First running back drafted. Who's coming off the board? Minus 170, Jonathan Brooks. I wouldn't draft Jonathan Brooks minus 170. He's coming off of an injury. I wouldn't draft him first overall. My first running back drafted would be Jalen Wright. I think it's worth a sprinkle. I really do. Now, obviously, Jonathan Brooks could be the first running back drafted, but I think Jalen Wright is worth a sprinkle. Trust me. I think it's worth it at plus 850. That's amazing value. Another amazing value is Blake Corum, but I don't think that's realistic. I think it's really between these two up front. Marshawn Lloyd has fumble problems. I don't see him being the first running back drafted. And then Trey Benson does have injury concerns. So does Jonathan Brooks. So for me, it just feels like Jalen Wright's the only slam dunk at the running back position, and I think he's got a shot to be the first running back drafted, and it's plus 850. First safety drafted, like I said, Tyler Nubin at minus 140. Feels right, but obviously Bullard's there. It's only these two. Bullard or Nubin are your only options at safety. So hard. No diddy. First linebacker taken. They got Collison up here. They got Cooper. One of them's going to go. I would take Peyton Wilson, but that's all preference. What is really going to happen, I don't know. And I don't see any great value there. Second tight end taken. Everybody's talking about Sanders being the second tight end taken. That feels very plausible, but there's teams that could just go and get Ben Sinnott too. But Jatavian Sanders does seem like the guy that'll be second off the board at tight end. Once again, I think what they did for that special parlay was that special bet is they parlayed all these guys together. Collison, Sanders, right? Nubin, and Jonathan Brooks. Yeah, they just parlayed it all together to give you that plus 1,300 at the start. So some of those might hit. You can bet them straight up individually, right? We saw the 1,300 for the parlay. You can bet those across individually as well and maybe hit 3 out of 4, something like that. Over under on Blake Corum getting drafted at 83.5. The reason they're at 83, remember, the first round was 30-something. So 83 overall puts you at 51 in the second round. And the reason for that is who's right there? The Eagles and the Rams are right there at that spot. They think either going over under. I only know of the Cowboys after that needing it. Over is 100 and I'm tripping. That's third round. I'm tripping. Third round. 83. That's the Rams. Yeah, I was still right. Rams and the Steelers. Who needs him before then? Give me a second. I don't mean to do this live on air with you guys. I'm looking at all the teams that draft before. And in the second round, I'm telling you the Cowboys are taking Jalen Wright. I just feel that way. Jonathan Brooks, Raiders, 44 is what they say. I have a bunch of notes. I don't see Blake Corum like that, man. I see Trey Benson going before him. I see Blake Corum in like the fourth round. I like the over. I think you sprinkle this over 83.5 on Blake Corum and hope for the best. I don't think he gets drafted in the second round. They have Blake Corum up here. Blake Corum drafted in the second round. Yeah, I don't like that. I think he goes over. That bet seems real. Really? Blake Corum over. Position of the Bills' first drafted player, wide receiver. They need a wide receiver. They just lost Diggs. It's wide receiver, and it's minus 400. I don't know if you can parlay that with anything, if they'll let you, but it's definitely wide receiver. They got to draft a wide receiver. First pick taken? Yeah. They traded back because they knew they wanted a Donnie Mitchell, and they figured Leggett would still be available. One of them would be available. That's why they traded out of the first round. They weren't stressing it. Ladd McConkey, Leggett, and Mitchell were all still on the board. You can trade back at that point. They'll take any one of them. So it's going to be a receiver, first guy taken, I think. I think you could bet that pretty heavy and feel good about it. If you bet 100, you only win $25. Yeah, man, it's dangerous. Dangerous. Draft position of the Browns going to take. They think it's going to be a defensive lineman or edge rusher. Everything's plus money here. Like I said, they pick in the 50s, and I don't know what they need. I would imagine defensive lineman, but it's just a bit much. Bit much to guess that far out, and you don't know what's going to be on the board at that time. So I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch the Houston's first pick. Team to draft Blake Corum. My goodness. The Giants feel like the obvious choice, and it's plus 1,100 for your value bet. I couldn't guess what team he's going to get signed by, but the Giants, and obviously everybody thinks the Chargers are going to do it with his head coach being over there. You could sprinkle both of those at plus 320 and 1,100. Who's going to draft Spencer Rattler? Oh, wow. I do have notes on this. I have Spencer Rattler going to... Why do I have him going to the Giants? It's plus 600. I have him going to the Giants. You guys think he's going to the Raiders? Huh. I've got him going to the Giants. We'll see what happens. You don't have to bet on everything, y'all. Mr. Irrelevant, total wild guess. I don't think that's a good bet to make. You have no idea who's going to be left, who's picking last. I haven't even checked. And they usually just, I don't know who they're picking. I don't know. I'd have to see. Who will be drafted first? Match bets. Okay. Let's talk. Who will be drafted first? Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry? Personally, there's value in Kool-Aid. I know everybody's ranking Cooper higher, but there's value in Kool-Aid here at plus 136. There's value in that. Can you do a parlay with that? Does it let you? Nope. Okay, doesn't it have SGP, same game parlay? All right. Adonai Mitchell or Ladd McConkey? I like Adonai. To be drafted before Ladd? Yeah, I like Adonai Mitchell to be drafted before Ladd. So you can't parlay those. Those are straight ups. Coin flips, if you will. I like Kool-Aid, and I like Adonai. You can do the value bets if you want, but I would sprinkle those, each one. So that's pretty much all we can bet on tonight. I have nothing real definitive. I just tell you that it feels like Blake Corum's not going to be drafted tonight, or he's going to be drafted in the third round late if it happens. And I'm hoping Sanders is the second tight end taken. That's a plus 170 worth making that I believe in. Tyler Nubin, I believe in, minus 140. Running backs, Jalen Wright worth a stab at 850. Jonathan Brooks at 170. And then you're worth this bet here at plus 1,300 is pretty fun. You can sprinkle something on it and just hope you get them all right. I don't recommend this. This is how we lose. But, hey, some of you guys are all parlay chasers. Your friends don't know. Hope to see you guys on the live stream. But Rico knows.